The advice and opinions expressed by the host of Autism Live and her guests are meant solely as suggestion and should not be in any way construed as child-specific advice. The Center for Autism and Related Disorders advises working with a board-certified behavior analyst who has experience with autism before starting any intensive behavioral intervention. Any choices you make in determining your child's treatment are completely at your own discretion.
Good morning and welcome to Autism Live. I'm Shannon Penrod and we are webcasting to you live from the Center for Autism and Related Disorders headquarters in Tarzana, California. I'm totally distracted this morning because I have all these wonderful games and we're going to be playing a game in just a little while, and that's where my head is at. I want to be playing this game and it happens to be our toy of the hour. So what am I talking about right here? I'm talking about the Tower. This comes to us from Endless Games, and Brian Turtle from Endless Games is going to be joining us in just a few minutes, and we're going to talk about the wide array of games that I have sitting here on my desk. But this is my new favorite game, the Tower. This is so awesome. We're doing the Festival of Toys right now. As you know, we feature a toy every single hour, and you have the opportunity to win that toy, so you can win the Tower. You need to be signed up for our free email list. That you can do that on our homepage, which is autism-live.com. But then you also need to write to me at my email, which is s.penrod@autism-live.com, and tell me which toy of the hour that you're interested in, why you're interested in it, and have an opportunity to win. I spent most of the day yesterday on the phone with winners of things that we've given away in the previous weeks, and everybody was so excited. Everybody who got a plasma car was so excited. People who won Legos were so excited. Every single toy that we've given away has found a good home, and I know you guys are thrilled. So make sure you're entering. I've got a lot of great toys today and tomorrow, but this is the toy of the hour, the Tower. And by the way, this is not a toy that is intended necessarily for kids who are on the autism spectrum, but it's great for our kids on the autism spectrum. We're going to be talking more about the different ways that you can be using this toy, but if you've got a child, think about the lessons that you can learn when playing a game. You work on winning and losing, at about strategy, about telling white lies, which is really important. You can work on all those things with games. But with this game also, we're working on colors, we're working on matching, imitation, problem solving, non-social problem solving. It's really, really fun. And you're working on it with fluency because you're racing against your partner. It'll all become a little bit more obvious when we play this game in a little bit while. And I've got something fun that I would like to do with this game that I think a lot of you might be interested in as well. So that will help our kids talking to people who are long distance. I've got a great idea for this because I know exactly what I want to do with this. But fun game from Endless Games. We're going to talk more about Endless Games and the Tower with our interview with Brian Turtle coming up in just a little while. Can't wait. But I want to start this show by reminding you that we're going to be with you for the next 2 hours live, talking about autism from a 360-degree perspective. You know, Kelby and I were at the Orange County Autism Speaks Walk on Tuesday, and we got to meet so many of you. And I don't want to get all weepy for a second in on the show here, but I can't even tell you how amazing it is to get to meet some of you in person, hear your stories. We met a lot of people who'd never heard of the show, so we hope that some of them are tuning in this morning and that they've found a new home too to get good resources and information, because that's what we do, is try to hook you up with information. But there's lots of ways to access that information. So Kelby's going to show you some of the different ways that you can get in touch with us or be watching the show. I'll remind you that our homepage is autism-live.com. That's where you can sign up for the email list. You can also check out our blog. Got a great recipe going on there right now. Oh, those Explore Asian noodles are just so yummy. Made some more of those over the weekend. Fabulous stuff. So do all of that, but you can also be watching the show. So there's a desktop with a computer screen. Click on the little triangle on the computer screen and you can be watching the live show or the most recently recorded live show, or you can click on the playlist icon up in the upper left-hand corner of the computer screen and cycle through Watch an Older Show. Now to the side of all that are the series of white boxes. Put your cursor in the one that says Your Question. question, start typing, hit enter, and voila, you and I could be having a conversation. And even more important than that, you can be having a conversation with some of the experts that we have on the show, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Remember that everything that we do is free and it's completely anonymous. You don't have to let us know who you are. You can let us know who you are if you want to and give us an email where we can get back to you. Up to you. Or you can just ask your questions. But there is no username, there is no login, there is no credit card, free and anonymous. I happen to love that. So please participate. The show is so much more fun when we hear from you guys and hear what you want to know. We just love when you guys interact with us. That's what the whole show is for. Okay, I like to remind you at the start of the show that while we do have many experts who are on the show, I am not one of them. Like we have a game expert here, somebody who's going to be creating, who's going to be talking to us about how he creates games and what that's about, and I just love that. And I love to play games, but I'm not a game expert, right? Nor am I an expert in autism. So I am a former teacher. I will say that I have some knowledge there, and I am a mom of a young man who is on the autism spectrum. He's 11 and a half now, so I have to say a young man instead of a young boy. He was diagnosed at the age of 2.5. We're coming up on the anniversary of when he was diagnosed, and he got the benefit of really good, intensive, quality ABA therapy at the right time, in the right way. And I got the benefit of really good information only because I was lucky, because I just happened to be at the right place at the right time and hear from a parent who said, hey, let me help you here so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And my husband and I made a bargain a long time ago that we would do everything that we could to help our son, and that then as soon as we saw that he was making improvement, that we would help other families to find their way. And I want you to know that I say their way because it's not as if there is just one path, one way. Everyone who's on our spectrum is an individual, and there is no one size fits all here, right? But I know that you have questions and that you're looking for resources, and if I can help you to connect yourself to those resources, then I pay off some of that karmic debt. That's what I'm all about, paying down that karmic debt, because I have so much to be grateful for, so much to be grateful for. So tune in and ask questions, get what you need from us, and we look forward to having you here. Okay, we like to start every morning with something we fondly refer to as the jargon of the day. This is when we take on one word, one phrase, one acronym, and we try to figure out what are those experts talking about? What do they mean when they say that, and what does this have to do with my life? Okay, our jargon for today is natural environment training, or sometimes you'll hear natural environment teaching, and the shortened version of this is NET. You'll see this and you'll say, oh, we'll be using NET, and you think, you're coming after my kid with a net? What is this going on? So what is natural environment training, and what does it have to do with us? All right, our actual definition, natural environment training, is training and generalization of skills within the child's natural environment. And I do want to say that a lot of times I will pick the most convoluted actual definition so I can point out how ridiculous they are. I didn't want to do that with this one, and believe me, there were some more convoluted definitions that I could have chosen, but I didn't want to do that because this is so important to our kids doing well that I didn't want to make extra fun of it. But let's go to our working definition. Our working definition is using a child's world as their classroom. So when I talk to people about ABA, and I'm thinking about just this weekend when we were at a walk and there were people that I would say, are you getting good quality ABA? And I was so surprised, parents of kids who are diagnosed with autism who would say to me, I don't know what that is. I don't know what ABA is. And I would say, well, it's applied behavior analysis. And a couple of times people go, oh yeah, that's that thing where they sit at the table with kids with flashcards and they point to the cards and the kids just do it by memory. I don't want to do that. And I would say, okay, no, what you're talking about is DTT, and DTT is a part of ABA, but it's such a small part of ABA. If you're getting good quality ABA, there will be a moment when they will sit at a table with a child with flashcards and work on something to introduce a skill. Because we know that to introduce a skill, to begin to teach it, DTT is very effective for many children. Many individuals, not for all of them. But we do know that if we want to get to the place that I'm always talking about, let's get to the good stuff. If you want to get to the good stuff, you might do DTT for a hot minute right at the beginning of teaching a skill. But once the child or the individual starts to get a sense of what it is, we very quickly want to take that skill and put it in the natural environment. And we want to work on that skill in the natural environment, because that's the only way that the skill is really going to become their own, and that they will learn how to learn, essentially, is the thing that we want to do. So if you're having an ABA program and all they're doing is stuff at a table, that's not good quality ABA. There has to be stuff anytime. I always say, give that program legs. So if a child is learning something at the table, let's say that we're teaching red, so that they understand it receptively and expressively. We want them to be able to hear red and understand what red is, and we want them to be able to look at red and be able to express themselves either through speech or through text, or with the help of an augmentative device, to be able to express red. And then think about all the different ways that we use the color red, because red can be the color on a two-dimensional thing. It could be three-dimensional. It could be brick red. It could be light red. It could be dark red. Or you could say, I was seeing red. What does that mean? So we want to teach red in this very global sense, so that eventually we have a person who understands all the many ways that red can be a part of our lives. So we start out by teaching DTT and introduce red, and we'll start with just a two-dimensional card of red, but very quickly we want to get this child in every single environment that they're in. And so maybe we're sitting in the car and we go, oh, look at the stoplight. What color is it right now? And get the child, and maybe receptively, we're saying, look, the stoplight is red. Can you point towards the stoplight that's red? And they'll be pointing towards it. And then we'll say to them, what color is the stoplight now? Is it red? And get them to say red, or get them to type red, or use their device to say it's red. We want them to get that. Then we're going to take them to the park, and there'll be two balls. Which ball do you want? Do you want the red one or the green one? And hopefully we get to the point where they're saying, I want the red one, right? We need to take these things into the natural environment. And that's what natural environment teaching, natural environment training does. It uses their entire world as a classroom. This is so important for us as parents and as teachers to be looking at how many different ways can we get at this lesson to shore it up. We have our experts talk about opportunity. Giving reinforcement and opportunity are the two best ways to teach anything. So if we take and teach something DTT at the table and then give it legs, take it to the grocery store and teach it at the grocery store, then it's that many more opportunities and that much more possibility for reinforcement, which means that many more possibilities to learn. When you get excited about natural environment training, you will see an individual grow. It is an amazing thing. So make sure that you are getting good natural environment training as part of your ABA program. All right? That's our jargon for today. Now, moving on, we always have a question for you that we like to see what you guys answer on Facebook. We'll try to drop in a little bit later on to see what you guys have written. What real-life moment do you wish you could get help with? Because let's stop and think. The thing that I always go back to, it's not my problem anymore, but when we used to take my son to school, getting him out of the car was such an ordeal. We couldn't just pull up to the drop-off and have him get out of the car. That couldn't happen. And even when we would take him home at the end of the day and getting him out of the car with his backpack, I would be in tears, just like losing my mind because I could not get him out and get his backpack out. And we lived on a busy street where I was just certain that one day one of us was going to get hit by a car because we were dinking around with getting him out of the car. And what I love about this is that this is real life. This is why we need to talk about those real life moments. But this is why we want to understand the difference between DTT and NET, because you've got to work on it in real life at some moment. But how do we get it? Because so much is happening in real life that it would just be overwhelming to me. And I literally would cry over it in frustration. So when we want to get to the real life moment, we know our end game is to work on it in the real life moment, but first we have to work on it in some other ways. So I went back on that real life moment and taught him a couple of things, a couple of skills that I pulled out of the moment, like how to reach over and get your backpack and move it close to you and then move your butt closer to the door so that when the door opens, you get out and you've already got the backpack and it comes with you. We had to really pare it down and only work on that in a parking lot where there were no busy cars. And we practiced that like 100 times. And then eventually, then we went and did it on the busy street when we didn't have to be anywhere, get anywhere at a time of day when there weren't as many cars, right? So that we worked up to him being able to do it on the busy street. And then we moved. But my point is that you got to work on the real life stuff, but how do you get to that real life moment to make it work? So I ask you guys, what real life moment would you really like to get some help on? And maybe we've got an expert who can help you take that apart to get you some help so that it's a little bit easier. Because man, now, I will say that my son is still not, the quickest getting out of the car, but it's so much better. It's so much better. All right, we always have a topic for you of the week, and our topic for this week is utilizing teaching methods. So being able to find all the different ways in which you can get at it. It's like, you got this great object that you want to open up and you don't know which tool to open it up with. Is this one of those things where we need a screwdriver to pry open the top, or do we need a can opener? Or, do we need a buzz saw to get, which paintbrush do you want to use to make the line that you want to create in the painting? There are so many tools in our tool belt. So this week we're going to be talking about how do we utilize the different tools that we have for teaching, the different teaching methods. So today we've got some really funny things to talk about in terms of utilizing teaching methods, because they don't all have to be boring, right? So we're continuing on with our Festival of Toys, and we're talking about some of the ways that we can use play to teach. I love that, don't you? So I mentioned earlier that in just a few minutes we're going to be joined by Brian Turtle from Endless Games, and he is, I always say to him, he's got the coolest job that there is, because he creates games, not just for our kids, he creates games for all kids. And it just so happens that some of the games that he creates are awesome for our kids, and we're going to be talking about that. In fact, our toy of the hour is The Tower, which is a great game from Endless Games for our kids, and we're going to play that with Brian in just a few minutes. And then later on in this hour, we're going to have Erin Hoffman back on again. She's from Lecotech, and we had some technical issues with her last interview, so I said, Erin, you got to come back on to show some of the neat toys. We had mentioned to you, and I gave all of them away at the walk that we were at this last weekend, but Toys R Us every year puts out something called the Toy Guide for Differently Abled Children, and they do that in conjunction with Lecotech. They rate the toys by what skills they help to work on. It's really an amazing guide, and you can get it online, or they have them in the store. At this time of year, you usually have to ask them because so many people have gone in and gotten them that it's pared down. A little bit later, I think closer to the top of the hour, we're going to try to show you, my husband and I went to a Toys R Us to film and to show you how we use the Lecotech guide. So I think we're going to show that to you right after the A word at the top of the hour. And then in the next hour, after that Toys R Us film, we're our very special guest that we're welcoming back to the show, Matt Asner from Autism Speaks, is going to be here to show you a new film that maybe you've seen on Facebook. My Name is Neil. It's a short film in a series that they're doing. It's the second in a series, and it's lovely. It's just delish and gives another person on the autism spectrum a voice to reach out into the world to say, hey, I'm here, and these are the things that I'm seeing and thinking when you're not hearing me speak. Just a game changer. So Matt's going to be here. He's also going to talk with us about some of the other projects that they're working on. So a very exciting show as we wind our way to the end of the year shows, because we have this week and next week, and that's it for the year before we start up again in 2015. So a lot to talk about, plus your questions. Stick with us. We're going to be right back after these messages.
Skills is an online program that provides assessment, curriculum, positive behavior support planning for challenging behavior, and progress tracking, and it does this all in one place. The skills assessment and curriculum addresses 8 areas of development, which even includes advanced higher level areas such as executive functions and cognition, which pretty much makes skills the only ABA-based set of curricula for teaching more complex skills, things like problem solving, planning, self-management, perspective taking, and even inferring and predicting others' private events. Skills is a 4-step system. Step 1 is to add the child to your account. Step 2 is to start assessment. The skills assessment is the only ABA-based assessment with psychometric research demonstrating the language subscale to have excellent reliability. Every area of human functioning and typical child development from infancy to adolescence was researched, making the skills assessment the most comprehensive of its kind in the world, and we're quite proud of that.
Skills is easy to use. Simply click Start Assessment and begin answering questions. Or simply type in a keyword, find specific activities to assess, and add activities to treatment. Step 3. Choose activities. Once you've completed the assessment, Skills selects from a pool of 4,000 activities categorized by age, level, and skill type to provide you with exactly those activities each child needs. Start by choosing a curriculum, then a lesson, and finally an activity. Click the information icon to view prerequisites, ages in which targets develop, examples, and IEP goals. Click the video icon to watch a short video. Once you've identified an activity you want to teach, adding activities to treatment is a snap. Step 4. Start treatment. Here you can access customizable activity lesson details, add your own customized targets and exemplars, and edit an activity status such as introducing or mastering it. You can even print handouts such as worksheets, tracking forms, visual aids, and other materials. Skills also offers multiple progress charts mapping curriculum progress, lesson progress, and cumulative number of activities and targets mastered over time. The Skills language curriculum is categorized by verbal behavior type so that users can identify progress for verbal operants, such as echoics, mans, tax, and interverbals.
Skills is one of the only programs that provides the ability to write behavior intervention plans, or BIPs, for challenging behavior.
With just a few clicks, the outline of the behavior intervention plan is written for you and ready to be printed and implemented.
You can learn more about Skills today and get started by visiting us at www.skillsforautism.com, or you can call us at 877-975-4559. Skills. Progress starts here.
Welcome back to Autism Live. I'm so excited because we have one of my favorite guests on the show today. Brian Turtle is joining us from Endless Games. I always say, Brian, that you have the coolest job that there is on the face of the earth. So we welcome you back to Autism Live.
Well, thanks. I'm glad to be back. It's a fun job to have around this time of year. I get mistaken for one of Santa's elves quite a bit. So.
Well, that's kind of what you are, because you are part of Endless Games, but you are a game creator. I mean, what cooler elf job could you possibly have?
I can't complain. It's a lot of fun. A first-name basis with Santa like this. It's great.
It's awesome. So we've got a wide variety of games here that we're going to talk about in a second, but I want to start by, I want to play the tower with you, but can we talk a little bit about how this all came about knowing how awesome this is for kids on the autism spectrum?
Yeah, it really was something that you and I have now been speaking about for about the past 2 years. And that was a game Endless Games had done 2 years ago called Korner'd, which is this one right here.
Yeah, I've got it right here, too.
It out in 2013, and it was a game about color pattern recognition. You had a game board like this, and the idea was to place these color tiles on the board, and there was only one location on the game board where each piece would fit. And you and I discussed that, and I realized here my niece, Caitlin, who was on the autism spectrum, she really excelled at this game. And subsequently, we have won some awards and worked together with Autism Speaks. And we realized that this play and the way that this game worked in particular really catered to the strengths of somebody on the autism spectrum.
I can tell you because I've played this with my son and with other kids on the spectrum. It's an awesome game. It's a reason why it's an award winner. And in fact, it's going to be our toy of the hour next hour. So if somebody's wanting to win that, it's our toy of the hour next hour. But in the meantime, though, that has led to your understanding that the tower is also an awesome game for our kids.
Exactly, because it kind of takes the play of Korner'd, and instead of going horizontal, it builds it up vertically. So it's the same idea as far as matching colors. Korner'd's a little bit more jigsaw puzzle-like, whereas the tower almost adds in an element of a stacking game like Jenga or something like that.
Yeah.
So what happens is you get this tower piece here, and basically this just shapes down the order in which you're going to have to build the cubes that you get in the game.
And I've got one here because I want to play a quick game against you, Brian.
Yeah.
You've been challenged.
I've got my gray set of cubes here.
Okay, I'll take the white ones.
And this is how my order is. I guess we'll work off of the order I had. Can you see my tower?
Well,
here?
I think we need to work on our own order because I can't see the bottom of yours. So
Fair
that's
enough.
okay.
I'll try to keep my tower, and then what happens is as you build your tower up, you may realize you don't have all the colors you need because there are these joker faces
Yes.
that will trip you up as you try to build the tower up. And
So-
you want to make it so that it's facing out, facing your opponent. So I'm trying to make sure you guys can see that.
Okay, so I'm trying to match exactly what's in the tower with my cubes facing you guys. So I've got my pink and I've got my yellow, and now I got to find my purple. And you start thinking, hey, this isn't hard, except that then you find, oh no, I don't have a purple one. Yeah, there I've got one. And then sometimes you have to take your tower apart to be
That's
able
right.
to come up with the colors that you need to get.
Right.
And you're playing against an opponent, so you're trying to hurry.
You've got that frenetic racing element of the game.
Oh, Brian, I think I'm going to win. I think I'm going to win. I think I've got it.
I don't have a pink cube right now, so I would have to go back in and rearrange and get the pink one out.
And I've got it here. I've got all my colors in order. So really fun because we're working on block stacking, we're working on colors, we're working on imitation, we're working on it with fluency because we've got to go quickly. These are all great skills for our kids, and the problem solving of figuring out, oh, I don't have a purple one, so now I've got to take my block apart and find another yellow one from another block so I can have this purple for when I need it. This is a smart, fun game. And
those are like the little wrinkles, that we like that all great games have. Those little kind of hiccups that you have to work your way through as you play. And so it's a soft kind of level of frustration. It's nothing that's going to give you too much anxiety, but it's enough so that it's a challenge and so that it kind of keeps everybody involved in the game straight up to the bitter end.
And I gotta say, your games are so well designed too, in terms of this is very portable. This would be very easy to take on a trip. But I'll tell you what I'm gonna do with this game is that my sister likes to Skype with my son, and they're always looking for things they can do via Skype. But we just proved you can play this game via Skype with a relative. My mom would have loved to have played this with my son. This is awesome. Get two of them and play long distance.
That's perfect. And even, that's the great thing about board games and why I'm kind of old school and proud of it, for the fact that games do kind of bring people together, whether you're playing it through Skype as we are, or whether you're all gathered around the Thanksgiving table after dinner and you break open a board game. It's just such that universal platform where everybody can get involved and everybody can kind of share, little bits about themselves and have a good time doing it.
Yeah, here's the thing about games. It gives our kids and us a safe, fun place to win and a safe, fun place in which to fail. Because if you don't win every time and yet you go back and play again, that's a great life skill that we're teaching our kids. It's okay to not get it right every time, and it's okay to try again.
That's right.
Games.
It's one of the areas that I like to say it's really more about the journey than about the destination.
Absolutely.
There's going to be a winner and a loser, but it's about the fun that everybody has along the way.
So, Brian, tell our audience at home, where can they get Endless Games? Where can they buy the tower? Where can they buy Korner'd?
You can get the tower and Korner'd right at our website at endlessgames.com. We do also have Korner'd. It's available at Toys R Us. The tower is still pretty brand new, so our distribution channels are just sort of becoming aware of it right now. It's available at a lot of local toy stores, the mom and pop stores, and our kind of Astra community. That's the American Specialty Toy Retailers Association. So folks in that area, in those independent toy stores, carry the tower. But for now, Korner'd is at Barnes & Noble, and you may actually find the tower at some Barnes & Noble stores, or failing that, endlessgames.com.
Okay, endlessgames.com. Now we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about some more games from Endless Games so that you can find the right game for absolutely everybody on your list. So stick with us.
Hi guys, welcome back to Smarty. This month we're going to be making a wreath of thanks, and as we work on this activity, you'll notice that these icons will pop up. These icons tell you important information about the skills we'll be using to make this activity and where to find them on the Skills program. Skills is an ABA-based online tool that helps parents create curriculum for their children that are on the autism spectrum. And if you're already a Skills user, this will help you get the most out of this fun activity. Well, let's get started. The materials you'll be needing are a paper plate, a hole puncher, scissors, colored pencils or crayons, brackets, and craft paper. So step one, you're gonna take your paper plate and you're gonna cut out the center of this so it becomes just a hollow ring for your wreath. Once the center of the paper plate has been removed, you're gonna take your hole puncher and make holes along the edge. Step 3, you're going to take out your construction paper and you're going to have your child and your family members lay their hand upon it, and you're going to trace out the shape of their hand. Once their hand has been traced, then you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut out the hands. At the base of each hand, you're going to take your hole puncher and make a single hole punch in it. The holidays are about being thankful, so on each hand, you're going to have your child put something on there that they're thankful for. Once your messages have been written on the hands, you're going to place them on the circle. You're going to use your brackets to hold them in place. So, your finished wreath will be a wonderful reminder of all the things that you're happy and hopeful for, and it will help you bring in the new year with such wonderful joy. Well, I hope you enjoyed this activity with me, and until next time, craft on guys. Bye. To find more about Skills and to access all of the lessons you saw in today's Smarty, visit skillsforautism.com and click on the parents icon. Skills, the online autism solution.
Welcome back to Autism Live. This is one of my favorite segments of the entire year because we have Brian Turtle from Endless Games here with us. We had said before, he has one of the most wonderful jobs in the world. He's like Santa's helper, the head elf, because he invents games for Endless Games. We talked earlier about great game Korner'd, which we know is awesome for our kids on the autism spectrum. The new game, The Tower, which I am absolutely in love with and think everybody should get 2 of them. So you can not only play it at home, but you can play it on Skype with relatives that are far away with your kids. But Brian, I've got a whole table of games here that I absolutely love. So tell us about some of these games because I think they're remarkable for all of our kids.
Sure.
Hi.
Well, I would say kind of starting with the lower end and working our way up, we have 2 great kids games. The first one is called Crazy Legs.
I love this game.
Yeah, and what's nice about Crazy Legs is it's almost like it's a whole workout for kids. There are these cards that have different exercises, or there's different yoga poses, and as you go around the game board, you have to stop and do that yoga pose or do that exercise for the entire duration of your turn before it comes back around to being your turn again. So, when you get 4 or 5 people playing Crazy Legs, you're getting a lot of exercise in. And on the good side for the kids, who are usually all wound up anyway, it's a great way to channel all of that excess kid energy that they would normally use to jump on your couch cushions or do laps around your dining room table.
This is a great one to play during the holidays, especially when you got relatives visiting, because everybody has to do it. My husband and I had to do the yoga poses with our son, and we had some relatives that were visiting, and our house looked like, people were in all these poses. It was really fun, but you get in some good stretching and some good exercise, and we were also making fun of each other. It was really, really fun game. Crazy Legs For those busy kids who aren't going to sit through a whole game, great game to be able to play with them.
That's right. We also we introduced another brand new kids game this year called Zippity Doo.
Yes.
Zippity Doo is this one right here. And Zippity Doo is actually sort of a kid's take on a game that we've been doing for years, since this was one of our first games at Endless Games called Encore. And Encore is a game where you get a word and you have to sing a song with that word in the song lyrics. So what we did with Zippity Doo was we basically took the Encore gameplay, but instead of words, we used picture cards. So the kids who are playing look at the 6 picture cards laid out, and as soon as they can come up with a song with one of the pictures in it, like Knick Knack Paddywhack, Give the Dog a Bone, I snatch that card, I win that card, and as you go through the deck, you want to win the most cards to win the game. Just a really basic, simple, sing-along kids game that you can take on the road. It's basically
Absolutely.
different cards.
I was just going to say, take it in the car. It's great. And for our kids who love to sing and are engaged when they're singing, great game. Zippity Doo. Love that.
Thanks. And then we've got really kind of our real sort of wheelhouse, our specialty, which has been kind of more in the party game area. We've been doing Name 5 for a few years now, and Name 5 is one where it's all about, can you name 5 Disney princesses, or can you name 5 Christmas movies? It's all about general trivia where the goal isn't so much to come up with one answer, but to name 5 answers within the category. So that's been one that we've it's been one of our top sellers here for the past couple of years.
And not to be underestimated, for our kids on the autism spectrum, this is a great game because it forces them to think of things in categories. There's a whole bunch of lessons in the skills program that have to do with general knowledge and coming up with categories of things. And when you run out of ideas, you can be playing this game with your kids and building their flexibility, building their cognition, building their language skills. It's brilliant for our kids on the spectrum.
Yeah, and you know what? And in building all of those skills, you're building their self-esteem, their self-confidence, yes, and their desire to want to play these games and play them with other kids their own age.
Absolutely, great game, love it.
But speaking of categories, that leads nicely to a brand new party game for this year, Switcheroo. And Switcheroo is pretty much a category-based game where you've got category cards and you've got cards that have letters on them. So on your turn, you're either going to play a letter card on the category. So if it's something in the fridge that always expires faster than expected, maybe I have the letter M, and I play my M letter for milk. And then maybe you're up next, and you could either do something in the fridge that expires faster than expected. Maybe you say L, I don't know, lettuce. Or you can play off that letter M that was still there for when I said milk and change up the category. So now you put down a card that says automobile makers and you say Mazda. So basically it's going into that category frame of mind, but at the same time you can switch it up by either playing a letter or switching up the whole category altogether.
There's a whole thing in building language. There's a set of lessons called intraverbals. These are verbal operants. And basically what you're working on here, Brian, is those interverbals. And for those of you who want to build conversation, this is the game to be able to do this. Great flexibility. This is brilliant.
Yeah,
Great toy.
I mean, and that's how I know I really talk that way, where I zig and I zag all over the place before I actually get to my end point. And this is a great game that sort of epitomizes that, because there are those zigs and those zags, and you just want to try to keep pace with the direction of the game, which is going to flip-flop around.
It. I cannot wait to play this with my son. Okay.
And just finally, I wanted to just point out Oddly Obvious, which is one of my personal favorites. It's a game where you get these letter cards, and these are all the answers, and I have the clues on the back. So, for example, if I give you the clue and I say the clue is weight loss, the answer on the front of the card is enlightenment, because it's oddly obvious.
I love it.
Yeah, so the whole game is all about those cards. That's one of my personal favorites.
I agree. I love this as well, but I also think there's so many different ways that you can use this game if you've got kids on the spectrum, because all the words are in different colors. Mm-hmm. So you can just be, for kids who are a little bit younger, if you're playing with a family, you can say, find the word that's written in red that starts with a B. And they're on the back, the questions, you can pick from them because some of them are easier too. So you can do it at all different levels with kids. It's a brilliant, brilliant game.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. One of my personal favorites. So those are we really try to have something for everyone, whether you're 4 and 5 and want to play zippity doo, or crazy legs, or as you get older you want to play some switcheroo, oddly obvious, name 5, and the tower, of course, Korner'd, the whole gamut.
They're wonderful, but you left out one of my favorites. You left out the Christmas pickle.
Well, what happened is I knocked it over behind me. And as a result, I couldn't. It just completely slipped my mind. This is actually really neat. This is not a game in the sense of you're going to sit around and play this for an evening's worth of fun. It's more of like a scavenger hunt type of thing. This is something families have done for years. In fact, some people say it's an old German Christmas tradition. Other folks say it originated during the Civil War. But whatever the case of the Christmas pickle may be, it's a fun way to add a little extra Christmas magic. What it is after Christmas morning, the presents are done and kind of all the hard charged excitement is dying down a little bit. There's still one last gift that we give you, pickle wrapping paper. So there's a pickle present that's wrapped up and still under the tree. And the person who gets to open that present is the player or person who can find the ornament, the pickle ornament, which is hidden on the Christmas tree. And this is a pretty fairly small ornament here, plus the fact that it's green, it really does hide in well into the Christmas tree. So the Christmas pickle is a fun little scavenger hunt to do Christmas morning and just give you a little added present there for after the craziness has, like I said, started to wind down a little bit.
I love it. It's a great, great gift. This is a wonderful thing to gift to teachers, for aides. It's a great, anybody who's got kids is going to love the Christmas pickle. Brian, all of these toys, how can we get them?
Best bet is to check us out at endlessgames.com. A lot of these toys are available at, like I said, try to shop locally and go to the to the mom and pop store down the street or your local toy store. If you find yourself in the Toys R Us, you can find some of these there. Barnes & Noble's the same way. Amazon.com has a lot of them. But try to support the local retailers and the independent retailers, and if they're not currently carrying something you like here, the tower or switcheroo, just ask them and say it's by Endless Games, and hopefully they know how to find me.
And endlessgames.com. They can always find you there. We thank you so much. And by the way, all of these games that I've got all over the desk that we talked about, you can win those in our Festival of Toys. Make sure that you sign up for our free email list and then email me s.penrod@autism-live. Tell me which game you want to win in order to enter and who you want to win it for. And we will pick one winner for each game of all the correct answers. If you sent it to us and said which one you wanted. You do need to send me your mailing address so that I know where to mail it to. That's a correct entry. If it doesn't have a mailing address, you're not entered, because I wouldn't know where to send it. But Brian, thank you so much for the work that you do. We just enjoy having you on the show so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for letting me be a part of this.
All right, you take care. Have a wonderful holiday season.
Thanks, you too.
All right, bye-bye. Wonderful, wonderful games. It's like picking a favorite child. Although I have to say the tower is my new favorite thing. I'm making a mess with them here, but fun game, and can't wait for my son to be able to play this via Skype with my sister. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we've got more toys to talk about because Aaron Hoffman from Lecotech is going to be joining us, so stick with us. There's been another new study about optimal outcomes, and I wanted to know, what are your thoughts on recovery? Do you think it's possible? Do you believe in recovery from autism?
On recovery, you learn how to adapt. I mean, I've had a lot of experimental brain scans done, and I have found things that are definitely abnormal. I have an enlarged left ventricle that's definitely abnormal. That's not going to go away. That scan was done less than 5 years ago. But you work with someone and they adapt. You're not going to make me an algebra specialist. That's just not going to happen. But things like getting better at public speaking, that is something that I gradually learned. What I'm seeing today, especially with some of the kids on the mild end of the spectrum, I'm seeing teenagers that are much milder than me that haven't learned things like how to go up to the counter at McDonald's and order food all by themselves, how to go on the bus. how to shop, how to go in the store and shop, how to do a checkbook, basic things like that. Because what drives me crazy is when I go back to the cattle world and I see a guy in the maintenance shop that's running the whole maintenance shop at a big plant, and he's as Asperger's as he can be, and he's running a whole maintenance shop. And then I see Junior that's addicted to video games, and you can't get his duff off his chair and get him doing things. Now, when I was in high school, I did a lot of thinking about this. I got kicked out of a large girls' school for throwing a book, and I went to a special boarding school up on a farm, and I was allowed to work with the farm animals. And they let me goof off and not study. But I got to thinking, there's one thing they did not let me do. I goofed off and I didn't study, but I had to physically go to class. When I didn't want to go to the Friday night movie, they made me the projectionist. One thing they were not going to let me do is sit in my room, become a recluse in my room. They were not going to allow that.
I want to know why you threw the book. Why did you throw it?
Oh, I threw a book at a girl because she called me a retard.
Oh, good reason.
Oh, no,
to throw
she
it at.
teased me. And I had some problems getting in fights when kids teased me. But it was always brought about by someone picking on me. And the principal had me kicked out of school, out of a large girls' school for doing that.
And what'd your mom say?
Well, she was not very happy about the whole thing because when the principal called, I answered the phone and he said I was incorrigible and I was kicked out of school. Mother was really angry that he just said that right directly to me, which was definitely not very appropriate.
Monica Holloway is a critically acclaimed author, speaker, and activist. She is also an autism mom. Her son Wills was diagnosed with autism at the age of 3. Now, at the age of 15, Wills is a high school freshman, attending a mainstream school.
I'm in a brand new school. I'm in a great school that I love, and I'm really happy there. I made friends pretty quickly on the first day, and something interesting happened to me on the first day.
Tell me.
We were doing an art project with fabric markers, and there was a little label on it that said, "Squeeze for best results."
Okay.
And so I squeezed it and it exploded all over the people at my table.
Oh
And we were all
no!
covered in little blue dots.
I asked Wills how he describes autism to people.
I say that I have Asperger's syndrome, which is a slight form of autism. It doesn't make you any different. It really doesn't. It's just there, and it just kind of makes you who you are.
I asked Wills what he thought of the Sandy Hook shooter's actions being linked to autism.
Please, just don't be scared of autism. If somebody has autism, don't be scared of them. Chances are they're not violent. They're just like you or me.
Monica is a proud mom with good cause. I asked her to describe Wills in 5 words.
Generous, curious, funny, sensitive, loving.
We had a chance to talk about the Sandy Hook massacre and how Monica heard the news.
On Friday, when the shooting happened in Connecticut, I was in my car, and my husband Michael called to tell me what had happened. And I was in a state of shock, as I think we all were, but that many children. And I felt, I guess a mind can't take in that kind of information without feeling nauseous. I felt it go from here all the way down my body. I started calling everybody I knew to tell them I loved them, and I was thinking about them, and I just wanted to be with the people that I knew. I started hearing more and more information come on the news about this shooter having Asperger's or being autistic. And then I started hearing things about, well, does autism cause violence? And I was in a whole other level of shock. Never in a million years would I think that somebody might associate us and my son's face with the face of violence just because he has Asperger's. And I've seen bad days and good days, and that's what kills me, is like there was not a day bad enough to ever make me think that he or any of his friends could ever be violent. The only thing that made me even feel a little bit better, to do something to help educate. And so we've started a campaign on my Facebook page, Cowboy and Wills. It's called I Am the Face of Autism. And please post a picture of yourself. It can be your child, your friend with autism. Let's put these beautiful faces of these people with autism on to wipe out the face of this murderer. Let's put our faces in front of his.
Hello, fellow activists. In our last segment, we talked about step number 2, educate yourself. Step number 3 is get support. Now, any journey can feel overwhelming if you feel like you're walking it alone. Well, you're far from alone, because with 1 in 50 kids diagnosed with autism today, there are a lot of us out there. Of course, there's always the issue of financial support. Now, there's a handful of organizations out there that offer financial support to families in need. ACT Today, or Autism Care and Treatment Today, is one of them. Visit our website at www.act-today.org to find out more about our grant process. I want to talk about a different kind of support today, emotional support. Now, you can get that from other travelers on this path. Some of the best advice I've ever received is from the moms of other kids with autism who went to school with Wyatt or were involved with programs with him. Then there are the pioneers. These are the families that have gone through this years ago, and there was very little information out there. All of these people seem to have the desire to pay it forward. Now, one of them, Lisa Ackerman, who is one of my mentors, started an organization called TACA, Talk About Curing Autism. She actually took the concept of mentors and support groups and made it available to everybody. You can go to their website, talkaboutcuringautism.org, to find out more. During the first and most difficult year after Wyatt's diagnosis, I wrote an email to close family and friends, letting them know what was going on and the challenges our family was facing, and why we dropped out of sight. I was amazed at the outpouring of love and affection and all the help I received from that email. First, you have to be vulnerable. You can't be afraid to ask. Try this out. Could you cook me a meal? Are you going to the market? Can you pick me up a few things? Could your kids play with my kid and make them feel included? Or can you come over and clean my house? Well, maybe not that last one, except with your best friend. And maybe the best support of all is having someone that listens, and that doesn't cost a dime. So until next time, surround yourself with the loving kindness of others and keep the faith.
Welcome back to Autism Live. We promised you Erin Hoffman, and we have Erin Hoffman. She's on the phone, but we, for whatever reason, the Skype gods are not shining upon us, so we cannot have Erin via Skype. You don't get to see her again. But Erin is joining us from Lecotech. We always like to say, what the heck is Lecotech? But Erin, thank you so much for being here. Tell our audience, if they've never heard before, what the heck is Lecotech?
Well, thank you, first of all, for having me again via the phone. I'm sorry I can't see your face and you can't see mine, but we're excited to be on, like always. So Lecotech is a toy lending library and therapeutic play-based program for children with special needs and their families. And I highlight the word families because we want everyone to participate. It's not just about our therapist and the child with special needs. It's about the siblings. It's about mom and dad. Maybe grandma and grandpa come, or an aunt and uncle. We want the whole family to be able to participate, and they're able to unite in play around a toy.
Love it. You know, so many other things that parents have to go to. You go to speech, and sometimes you're involved in that. You go to OT, you know, you have your ABA therapy, all these things, you're involved in them, but it isn't always that much fun. But here's a thing that people can go to, play therapy, and the whole family is involved, and you're learning how to interact with your child around toys, which I gotta say, I think we could all use a little bit of that, or a lot of that.
Exactly. It's very therapeutic. As we like to say, it's not therapy, it's therapeutic. Everyone feels refreshed and rejuvenated after they leave Lecotech. It's fun. It's not work. We promise.
Love that. We love that. And as we had mentioned before, you guys are very involved with the Toys R Us toy guide for differently abled children. Tell our viewers about what you do for that toy guide.
Yeah, so we're excited that it's the 20th anniversary this year of the Toys R Us Guide, and we have been a part of the selection. So we select the toys and we evaluate the toys for the past 18 years. And so what happens is we get all of these toys come to Lecotech, all of our Lecotech sites across the U.S., which are 17 sites across 9 states, and our families and their siblings get to help evaluate the toys with us. So we get to decide with them, is this cool? Did it work? Did a child with cerebral palsy, autism, Down syndrome, whoever it may be, were they able to, unite with this toy? Did it work for them? And then we pick skills that go along with the toys that you can see along the end on the side of the guide, where it might say fine motor or gross motor or pretend play skills. And so you can see those skills on each of the products within the guide, along with some content that we have written. And we hone in the guide to about 100 toys, which really brings in that giant Toys R Us store for you when you're going shopping, or whether it's the holidays or a birthday throughout the year, so that you can find something that will be right for that child that you're shopping for.
Yeah, it really makes it so much easier when you go shopping with that guide. And in just a minute, we're going to show a video of my husband and I going shopping with the guide. But Erin, I have on my desk, we have to give a shout out to U-Clue because this is one of the toys that's featured in this year's guide. The U-Clue, they're treasure hunt games that are so amazing for our kids that are on the spectrum. We really love this game. And they were able to send you, and you were able to send me some to give away. Now, we've already given away one set because they're different age ranges, so the one that's a little bit more advanced. But we want to give a shout out to U-Clue, and we are going to be giving away these last 2 as well in our Festival of Toys.
Exciting stuff. We love that game. The original game is the Early Reader Treasure Hunt game, and then the Riddle Edition is a newer game that's a little bit more advanced, like you said. And the thing that we love the best about that game is it takes in that traditional board game feel, except you get to move around the entire house, which makes the whole game like a scavenger hunt. So kids that have trouble maybe sitting and they don't want to sit for an entire game, this doesn't make them have to sit at a table with the whole family. They get to interact around the whole house and work together as a team to try and solve the clues to find whatever is hidden at the end of the scavenger hunt. So it's
super
just a
duper
really
fun.
fantastic game.
It's super duper fun. And while we've got you here, because you are an expert in toys, and you're an expert in toys for kids who have different needs, you are a great resource, and you put together a list of resources that we could share with our viewers.
Yes, so you guys are very familiar with us working on the Toys R Us guide, so we definitely want you to go and use that at your local Toys R Us, your Babies R Us, or online. They also have an app, so that's a great tool as well. And then you're familiar with Lecotech having the project ableplay.org, and I do have to mention that our website is going to be brand new by the end of this year, so keep checking in. It's going to have a lot more resources on it and be so much more user-friendly, so we promise it won't frustrate people anymore. It will have some really great information, so check back in on that. But the other things I wanted to make note of are NAPA Awards, which is the National Parenting Publications Awards. We are judges for toys, games, and apps, along with some other judges that do some of the evaluations with us. And it's a great resource on a website at napaawards.com.
And I actually think that Kelby has all of these. Yes, he does, right there.
Good,
so that,
good.
now they're up on the screen so that you guys can be following along and seeing the NAPA right there, napaawards.com.
Perfect. So you can go on there and search for different categories. So maybe you're looking for babies, maybe you're looking for gadgets, maybe you're looking for tech stuff, and it will bring in some of the popular items that our judges thought were really exciting and that we wanted to let you know about. And this is not specifically for kids with special needs. This is just general toys that we think would be exciting for kids of all abilities. So that's napaawards.com. And then the Toady Awards. And I don't know that everyone knows about this resource, but it's toyawards.org, and it's through the Toy Industry Association. And basically what happens is toys are nominated in the toy industry, and then they are voted on essentially by consumers like you. So you can go on and you can say, yep, I love that baby toy, or I love that pretend play toy. And you can let other people know that you've gone on and voted, and it's really just a long list of different categories of things that your child has probably played with, and then it will be on a list for people to help with holiday shopping. So that's still going on now. I would definitely recommend going and checking that out and putting your vote in, because every vote counts, right?
Absolutely.
finally, I really have to stress going to your specialty toy retailer. They are your little neighborhood mom and pop shops, and they have a lot of great information to share. They've talked to a lot of different families that have come in and looked for different toys, whether it's for a child with special needs or not, and they love to give out their information, and they also gift wrap. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with someone wanting to gift wrap a product that you're going to buy for a holiday gift or for, a birthday celebration.
And you can find, you can find some really amazing toys that you won't find any other place, going to some of those little mom and pop stores, toys that come from around the world that you wouldn't find anywhere else, that sometimes it's just the right fit for our kids. And we know that getting just the right toy, not only is it on their list, it's on our list. I honestly say that that's the most fun part of the holiday for me, is getting the right toy, the one that makes their face light up.
Exactly.
So, and then on top of that, if that makes their face light up, so it's reinforcing, but it's something that helps them build skills in the area that they need to, then we're just working on all pistons.
That's our stealth mode at Lecotech, is always trying to figure out how can we work in pincer grasp with this. They're working on that fine motor skill, but they don't know it. So we find that perfect toy that will, number one, help that child with a goal that they're working on, and number two, that their siblings and their parents will enjoy playing with them as well.
Absolutely. Aaron, we love what you guys do at Lecotech. We think it's incredible. Thanks for getting the U clues to us. We want to thank the U clue people. You can win these toys. Make sure that you are on our email list. You must be on the email list in order to win. Then you want to email me, s.penrod@autism-live.com. Tell me what of the toys that you've seen today that you would like to win and why. You must include your mailing address. Otherwise, I don't know who to mail it to, and that's not a complete entry. Of the completed entries, we will pick a winner for each one of the toys that we've shown to you. Aaron, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful holiday season.
You too. Happy holidays.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, we're going to take a break. First, we're going to show you the A Word. This is the ongoing documentary that's being done at the Center for Autism and Related Disorders following a little boy, Jack Riley, who was diagnosed with autism at the age of 2. You get to have a window into his family and how they're dealing with not only autism, but this intensive behavioral intervention as part of their growing family, because he's gotten to be a big brother along this journey. And then we're going to go right into showing you my husband and I shopping at Toys R Us using our toy guide for differently abled children. Check it out.
I know a cute little blue-eyed boy, and his name is Jack. Jack Riley. He got a big, warm, blue-eyed soul that makes your heart beat fast.
So Jack Riley is starting preschool, and we're scared because it's a big classroom. He'll have a full-time aide for at least the first month, and then we'll see what happens after that.
Is he in a classroom with typical peers or mixed classroom?
It's a mixed classroom. To be honest with you, I don't think they love him yet. You guys always treat him with love.
How many teachers are there in the classroom with them?
There's 2 and a couple assistants, and one who's supposed to be Jack's assistant, but we think she's just reassigned at the last minute to pretend she's Jack's assistant. We're going to, in fact, try to observe a little today.
After Jack Riley has been in school for 30 days, Cheryl and Mike have an IEP meeting with the school district. An IEP is an individualized education plan. It's a legal binding document that outlines plans and goals for a child.
We went to our IEP the other day, and it did not go as badly as we thought it would. What they're ultimately trying to do is to take away a lot of the structured speech and OT time. They guised it under the fact that most of his needs are social related. What they're trying to do is do a lot of what they call push-ins, which is doing his speech therapy in the classroom. The more I think about it, the more I think that that's what should be happening in the classroom at all other times. Part of our concern is that we won 2 hours of OT during the due process, and they've never given it to us. For us now to allow them to reduce it to 90 minutes with never having even gotten the 2 hours.
Did the IEP affect the ABA he was getting?
No, the ABA right now is being provided by our regional center because I have a self-funded insurance plan that denied ABA coverage. So it is being provided by the regional center, but that's contingent upon us getting a certain amount of services from the school district. So it's all so interconnected and so scary, because if one slips, then the other one does too.
Hi, I'm Shannon Penrod, host of Autism Live, and today I'm standing outside the Toys R Us in Porter Ranch, California. You know why? Because it's that time of year again. We want to go in the store and check out some great toys for our kids on the autism spectrum. Come on, let's go. Hey, what are you doing here?
Hey, stranger. I'm checking out the Melissa and Doug collection here. They're beautiful.
Don't you love these toys?
I love it.
They're
They're
the
so
best
bright
toys.
colors. And
I don't know if I've introduced you. Hey, everybody, this is my husband, Jim Miller.
Hello.
And together we're autism parents. And every year when it's time to shop for holiday toys, we really care about getting good quality toys that are fun, reinforcing, and build skills. So that's kind of why we're in the Melissa and Doug aisle today. So take a look. I want to show you this particular toy. This is an amazing toy, really well made, all wood. You can really count on good quality with Melissa and Doug. This toy has so many different functions to it. Take a look. You've got all these wonderful wooden numbers. You can take these numbers out and have the child hold them. You can be teaching time. It's so well labeled, minute and hour. So many different games that you can play with this toy, and it'll last a lifetime. They can give it to their kids.
And you've got colors.
Absolutely. So you can be working on all different kinds of things at the same time.
Do you remember we had this one here, this wooden puzzle?
And you could put it together 6 different ways. He loved that toy. I think we still have that in the garage.
think so,
We
too.
should give it to somebody. But what I love about Melissa and Doug is that they're so functional. Take a look. You've got all kinds of toys where they get to do functional pretend play. We've got toys that girls will love. We've got toys that boys will love. It's an amazing array of toys. We love Melissa and Doug.
Oh my gosh, there's a nostalgia feel, because they're kind of like old style toys, but they're still so up to date too.
Absolutely. So let me take you and show you some toys in the leapfrog aisle, okay?
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I'm going to give everybody a little hint as to how to find great toys this year and every year when you have a child who has different needs. This right here is the toy guide for differently abled kids. Toys R Us puts this out with our friends at Lecotech. And what they do is they rate all of the toys for toys that are good for our kids, and then they give us these handy dandy little icons that tell us what this toy will help our child to work on. All those skills that we're wanting to work on all the time, we can find a toy that matches the skill. So I love to use this guide and walk through the toy store and match up some things that are appealing to me and figure out what skill to work on. One toy that is featured a lot in this guide, many years over, is Leapfrog's Leap Reader. This is an amazing toy. As you can see on it, it says it builds skills for reading, writing, and listening. What better toy could you give a child who is in the early stages of learning how to read and write? A remarkable toy. The reason why it's featured again and again and again in the toy guide is that it's a proven winner. Kids love it, parents love it, and they build skills. Love Leapfrog. One of the things that happens with kids is that they get older, and you might think to yourself, oh, you're only featuring toys for littler kids, but let's talk about something for those kids that are getting a little bit older. This isn't just for boys, but I will say that our boys particularly love them, and our boy particularly loves them. Hexbug Nano products, right? They make these really cool little bugs, and they come in different sizes and shapes, so you can add on and have it be a reinforcer, something that they can work for. And then they make little trails that you can put together. One of the things that's featured this year in the guide is something called the Black Hole. This is a whole series. It's like a habit trail for these little bugs. They're fake bugs. They can race in them. There's a social game. They can play with their friends. There's a lot of fine motor involved, and planning, executive function, cognition skills. We love the Hexbugs line. And of course, now this year they also have the Aquabots. I think we have a child that's going to be interested in some Aquabots.
I didn't even know about that. That's great.
They're really cool. They're fish, and you can't kill them. This is a wonderful thing for parents. Unkillable fish. Okay, Daddy, so you want to go play with some toys?
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to go demo some toys for you. Okay, Jimbo, so it's time to play with some toys. I want to start down on this side of the table with a great company. Learning Resources makes some incredible toys for all kids, but they're especially great for our kids on the spectrum. So doesn't this look like something you want to eat?
Oh, I love that.
Okay, so right off the bat, this is a great functional pretend play toy. What it is sorting shapes cupcakes, again, by Learning Resources. And we can do so many different things with these toys. We can just pretend to eat them, right? But there's more. You notice that they're frosted and they've got different kinds of shapes on the top. You know why?
Does it have to do with different, like, form, putting things in different shapes?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're going to do matching with this. Take a look, because when you take the cupcake apart, first of all, we've got different colored bottoms. I'm going to give you the one that has the crosses and X's on it. So mine has a yellow bottom. What does yours have? Yours has yellow
Mine
too.
has yellow too.
So we can say they match, right?
right.
Except they have different shapes on the bottom. Mine is a circle, and yours is more of a crisscross. It doesn't want to come off. So we're working on fine motor skills here too, right? So they're different shapes on the bottom. And you see that they match up to the bottom of the cupcake, and there's a prompt on the top of the cupcake. So this one has circles on the top of it, so it reminds the child this one is a circle that goes with this, and then there's another prompt in the bottom of the cupcake holder. So many, so go ahead, you can fit yours together. Now he's working on fine motor, push and pull, gross motor, and then we can put them in the cupcake tray and offer them to somebody else. Just so you see though, there are other colors as well. So there's red, and then there's also green.
Colors and shapes.
Yep, colors and shapes, and so we can do matching with shapes and colors. And again, love the prompt on the top, so clever, and our kids will really like this, and we can work on the functional pretend play. Now another toy by Learning Resources that I really love this year are these word construction toys. They give you these bolts. So our boys like them because it looks like something you're going to build, right? And you're actually building words. So you've got all these different rings. They're endless possibilities. The green ones are vowels. So we know that we want those to go between other ones. It starts to teach kids how you build a word and why vowels are so important. So you throw a couple onto a bolt, and then you start twisting them to see if you can come up with a word so that they can see all the different possibilities. So what do you have over there, Daddy?
I got hat.
Okay, I got tar. And then we shift them again and come up with another one. I have dim.
I have sod.
There we go. So endless hours of fun with these, and you're working on letters, you're working on colors, you're working on building words, and there's this wonderful distinction that the vowels are green. That's going to help our kids to learn how to read and know the value of a vowel.
That's excellent.
Right? Love that. Learning Resources, great toy. Okay, you know I love Melissa and Doug toys.
Yes.
Right? So,
Nostalgia.
oh, but they're just so well made. They're going to last forever, and they're so educational. This particular Melissa and Doug toy is a lacing shoe. For anybody who's ever had difficulty teaching their child how to tie their shoes, and we know a little bit about that as autism parents, yes. This is great because it gives the opportunity for it to be in something that's fun outside of them. So often when kids are leaning over their own shoe, it can be really difficult, or you take the shoe off and put it on their lap and it doesn't have long enough laces, it's not big enough for them to be able to see. This is an awesome, awesome toy so that they can put it through bigger holes, have a longer lace, and have it sit on their lap and really practice with this. Super duper toy for Melissa and Doug. All right, the next one, I know you're gonna love this one.
Oh my gosh.
It's the Bubble-Luca.
And who doesn't love bubbles?
I'm telling you, everybody
I
loves
still love bubbles.
Yeah. So, and this is a foolproof bubble cannon, really. So one of the things I love about this, it's got a little suction cup. You can stick this right onto the bathtub wall. I'm gonna have you hold that for a second.
Sure.
So, and it's got a clippy so that you can unclip it. So this is clipped to the bathtub wall. This goes right into it, so you're not having to find it everywhere. And the handy little tray, it also can affix to the wall. There is this removable piece at the end that's got a little, it feels like terry cloth thing at the end. So we pour our bubbles into here, and we begin to teach our children cause and effect. So we have them dip it in there. Go ahead and dip it, Daddy. Yep. And then blow, and we're gonna make a mess. So reinforcing for kids. Now, stop and consider all the different things that you're working on here. You're playing with this, very reinforcing, but we're working on blowing, which is going to help build the muscles to produce sounds. It's going to help with eating issues, actually. And because it's so reinforcing, I don't know if you remember, but when Jem was little, we used bubbles so often to start teaching a skill. When we were working on eye contact, do you remember that we would take the little, and by the way, it does come with a wand as well. So if you don't want to do this and you want to take these outside, there is a wand in there. Do you remember we would say to Jem, you know, I have bubbles, and we would wait until he made eye contact, and that's the moment that we would blow the bubble. And what that taught him was, when I make eye contact, then I get something really good. Then later on, we had him say buh, which led to him saying bubble, and then later he had to say, I want bubbles, more bubbles, right? Bubbles are an amazing thing. So you can use the wand, you can use the cannon, whatever you want to do, fabulous. We always think that we have to spend a fortune on toys to have them be wonderful and build skills. This is a great example of a really inexpensive toy that can work for kids of all ages and build a lot of skills. Love the Bubbalooka. Awesome.
So fun.
Okay, now I'm wearing this crazy thing on my head because you know that I love the headbands lines of games. Go ahead and put yours on, Daddy. And this year, they've come out with a new one that's really fabulous. We played Headbands, the original, before, but this year they've come out with Act Up. This is like charades for kids. Okay, so we're wearing our headbands. Kids love this. When mom and dad look ridiculous, so much the better. So we've each put something, a card on our head, and I will tell you that yours is a thing, because these can be people, places, or things. So we're teaching nouns too. It's really cool. And you can help a child if they're a pre-reader to know what it is, but they have to act it out so that he has to guess what it is. So you ready to guess what is on your head?
Okay.
Okay. So.
Saw.
No.
Something to me.
Okay.
Or accordion.
There we go.
Oh,
okay. I had to be more specific, right? Okay, so now act out for me what I have on my head.
It's a thing.
Okay, it's a thing.
Okay.
You're thinking. You're surprised. Shocked. Oh, you got an idea. It's a light bulb.
Light bulb.
Ah,
You got it.
Okay. So, lots of fun. Great thing to play. These kinds of games are so interactive, and it helps kids to know how to ask questions. All of these toys are amazing. They're all available in this wonderful guide that we talked to you earlier about, the Toys R Us Toy Guide for Differently Abled Children. Check out the icons that go with them to know what kinds of skills they build. Really remarkable. We thank Toys R Us and Lecotech for putting together this wonderful, wonderful guide. And all of the toys that we demoed here, we're going to be giving away on the show. So make sure you sign up for our newsletter so that you can win one of them. So just another fun day toy shopping at Toys R Us. And educational too. We want to thank the Porter Ranch Toys R Us for hosting us today. And we want to thank Toys R Us and Lecotech for putting together this wonderful toy guide for differently abled children. Check it out. Make sure that this season you're spending your money well and helping to educate your kids while letting them have fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for being with us. Bye-bye. Welcome back to Autism Live. We're so thrilled. We're so lucky because we have back in the studio with us Mr. Matt Asner. Welcome back. We haven't seen you in a while because you've been very, very busy.
Always busy.
And we have to, first of all, start out by saying congratulations.
Thank you.
Because you are newlywed and we couldn't be happier for you.
Thank you very much.
Your lovely wife, Nava Paskowitz, but now is it Nava Paskowitz Asner? Is she hyphenating? What's happening with that?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, and she's going to be joining us, I believe, a week from Thursday to talk about something that she has going on that, believe me, you're all going to want to hear about. But we welcome you back. So thrilled. We got to see you at the Orange County Autism Speaks Walk on Sunday. And that was a wonderful thing to see everybody there. We were talking about, I have to say that I love being at a walk, and each walk is individual. They all have their own flavor. This was my first time at an Orange County walk, and it had a very Orange County flavor to it.
They have their own personality.
They do.
If you go to a San Diego walk, it's about, San Diego.
It's amazing. But as always, it was really good people, really good entertainment, getting to meet the families and getting to meet the kiddos and seeing all the resources there, amazing. The hope. The hope
I agree.
that's served up on a platter when you go to a walk. It's just absolutely amazing. So, but we have to start by asking you, you have a new and impressive title with Autism Speaks.
I guess I do.
Yes.
I'm now the Director of Corporate Development. There are 4 of us in the country, and I'm one of them, and I'm excited. And it's really, the way I see it is I've been doing this all along, and now it's just a little more of a streamline of what I'm doing, and I'm excited. I'm excited because we're going to be building a big team here in Southern California.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited because I love what you do. I'm a big fan of yours. You bring to the table a viewpoint as a parent and as a brother that I think is unique and wonderful. We love when dads are out there and vocal, but you also bring a sensibility to it that I think is important for all of us, for our community, and for the Autism Speaks community. So I'm excited for everything that you're bringing to the table.
Thank you very much. I'm excited. I'm really excited, and I feel that we're going to do some exciting things here in Southern California.
Yes. Well, thrilled, and you've already started that.
Exactly.
One of the things, there's so many things that we want to talk about with Matt today, but I most especially want to talk about the second in a series of film that I guess it is going to be a series.
Yes.
My Name is Neil. Tell us about this.
Well, 2 years ago, I did a video with my good friend Matt Manning, who is an animator. Who's known for his work on Robot Chicken. And he also did a great short for Disney called Blank, a Love Story, a Vinylmation love story, I think it's called. I called him, I called him when I was hired at Autism Speaks, and I said to him, look, I'd really like to do something animated, because I would go into places and I would try to explain what autism was to people. And they would kind of look at me blankly and kind of go, okay, I kind of understand that. But it was difficult. And so coming from the entertainment world, I said, I need something that's going to kind of ease them into it and educate them and entertain them. So the idea of doing an animation was the first thing that came to my mind. So I called my friend Matt, who I knew was an animator, and I said, Matt, let's do something. Let's do something. He goes, absolutely, I want to do something. Because all I do are fart jokes. That's all I do. So I said, okay, great. Well, we won't do any farting.
That's the Robot Chicken, right?
Exactly. That's Robot Chicken. So we ended up, I ended up seeing a speech by David Sharif that was, to me, probably the most encapsulated and beautiful definition of what autism was. And we made My Name is David. Which was very successful and still continues to be successful even now. The idea was, when we made My Name is David, to do a representative across the spectrum. So we were going to do a series of films that represented individuals all the way across the spectrum. So the idea for the second one was always that we wanted to do someone who was, for the most part, nonverbal. And I know Elaine Hall very well, and she has an incredible organization called the Miracle Project.
Yes.
And her son Neil gave this incredible speech at the UN on World Autism Awareness Day. And it was a fairly easy decision because it's a beautiful speech about how he feels and the way people see him and the way he feels about the way people see him.
Yeah.
So I sent the speech over to Matt, and we both kind of said, that's it. This is it. And Elaine was very gracious, and the Miracle Project, they were very gracious in allowing us to use the speech. Neil is actually in it.
Yes.
And we created this wonderful piece about Neil and about the way people view him and how he feels about that. And I think it was very successful. We got very lucky in the choice of music because we wanted to use Open Arms by a band called Elbow, and they allowed us to use the song. And they're my favorite band, so it was an added bonus for me.
Great.
So it was great. So it worked out very well. And it's a very different feel.
Yes.
From My Name is David. It's a very different style of animation. We use puppets and clay, but it's a different feel.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And we actually have it.
Yes.
And you have said it's okay for us to show it.
Absolutely, 100% okay.
All right, so we're going to take a break and let you guys. It's also available, by the way, on Facebook, and it's available on YouTube.
Yes.
But we're going to let you guys take a look right here on Autism Live. So take a look. My name is Neil.
I cannot speak. For whatever reason, God has intended for me to be mute. Many people might believe that I cannot think, but despite their thinking, I can. What's more is that I listen. A lot of people may stare at me, and when they do, I listen to their body movements and eye gaze. I listen to their ignorance. I listen because I have no choice but to take in the world in the way I can. Listening is different from hearing. When you hear someone, you simply recognize that they are emoting sounds. When you listen to someone, you actually process what they are saying and internalize it. What do I think of the people who stare? Let's break it down. What they are saying is that they are unsure of me. They can't quite figure me out and don't know how to categorize me. They are saying that I am not the way they are, that something's not right. Now for the second part, how I internalize it. I used to have some issues with this. I used to believe the stares and thought there was something wrong with me. I used to get down on myself for not fitting in. Now, I am much more confident in myself and my diagnosis. I am an advocate for autism awareness, an emissary, if you will. I welcome the stares, and I wish people would actually ask, what's different about you? I've internalized that some people are uninformed, not knowledgeable about special needs, and need to learn about neurological differences. I don't take it personal anymore. I've listened enough. It's time for me to speak, however it may sound, through an electronic device, my hands, or my mouth. Now it's your time to listen. Are you ready?
Make me cry. Here we go. Welcome back to Autism Live. Lovely, lovely film. Absolutely adore it. We wanted to talk a little bit about, because I said that I particularly love your voiceover. I recognize it as your voice.
Yes.
And that you said that there was some decision making about how to approach this. I think that you've done exactly the right thing, but cue in our viewers to what the decision making process was.
Well, the original idea was we wanted to use Neil's Speak It, which is the software he uses.
Yeah.
And it's a very robotic sounding voice, and it's difficult sometimes to make out what the robotic voice is saying.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to use that voice because I thought it was, I wanted the integrity of having, what was really happening.
Right.
And we got into the mix and started using that, and it just felt like you couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
And to me, I think the most important thing is that people understand and hear what's going on.
Yeah.
And so I decided that it was best to use my voice.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did.
Yeah.
And I tried to do it in a way that was not reading anything into it.
Yeah.
It was just basically reading and dictating what Neil's words were.
I thought it was really, I I was so struck by it because it was so clean in that you didn't go to the robotic voice, but you kept it clean of interpretation. And I know as an actor that's a really hard thing to do, but I thought it really did exactly capture the feel of what it needed to do, so that we had an understanding of we are listening to someone speak through another medium.
Right.
And so I thought that was brilliant. It really was very moving to listen to it in that way. I just think it's a really important film, and I'm excited about the fact that you're going to make more of these.
Yeah, we are. You know, and I'm not sure when the next one is going to come out. Matt is in Korea for, I think, a year.
Okay.
He's doing a movie over there.
Are they doing Robot Chicken in Korea?
No, he's doing a television series over there.
Oh, okay.
And so he's living there for a year.
Okay.
But we talk, and you know, I had a conversation with him about a week ago, and he said, let's do another one. And so we're looking for another one. I think the next one will definitely be a girl.
Okay.
Be a female.
Wonderful.
And I think it's important to get the female side of things.
Yes.
And we're looking around, kind of deciding what we're going to do.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll look forward to that. We absolutely will. I want to, right as the credits were playing, is it okay to talk about this? There was a name that was there, somebody that you thanked, and you said the name, and you said, this is somebody that I always thank, and I know a little bit of your story, and it's part of why I think your perspective is so unique and so wonderful. Mm-hmm. And I asked if that was the person. So in Code, what we're talking about, your best friend growing up was a young man who had Tourette's, correct?
Yes. His name is Adam Seligman. He was my best friend from about 11 all the way into my early adulthood. And he was very affected by his Tourette's. It was unmistakable. You would walk in, he would walk into any place, and Tourette's syndrome can be, very slight, or it could, like a grunt, mm-hmm. or, a little bit of a tick, with the arm or something like that. Or it can be very pronounced. And he, unfortunately, had a very pronounced case of Tourette's syndrome. And so it manifested itself in terms of spitting, mm-hmm. Which is terribly antisocial.
Right.
Cursing, and loud shouts and mm-hmm. violent jerks mm-hmm. and with his arms. It was very difficult for him. And I met him when I was 11, mm-hmm. and we were both in very interesting places in our life.
Yeah.
In our lives, and we met in a sandbox. And I went over to him, and I just asked him what he was doing. He was trying to find some graphite in the sand. Uh-huh. And he said, I'm trying to find graphite in the sand. And I said, oh, cool. So, what's interesting about this is, when I became good friends with him, my parents said to me, why are you doing that?
And I'm sitting here crying because that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I'm thinking, who better? I have to get out the tissues, because I think that's one of the perspectives that you bring. Because as an 11-year-old, you saw him. Mm-hmm. You saw past all of that and saw him and decided that was somebody you wanted to be friends with.
Right.
That's somebody we need leading the charge.
And what I tell my parents now is, well, you must have done something right. Because here I was, an impressionable young 11-year-old who gravitated towards this very interesting person. And I saw what was interesting about him, and I gravitated towards that. Yeah. And I think the attraction for me was his intelligence, and his, he had a worldly view. He was very intelligent, wildly intelligent, and at such a young age, he knew a lot of things that I didn't know, and I wanted to learn. Yeah. I mean, I was in a place in my life where I had a learning disability, and I was not in a good place in school, and all I wanted to be was smart. Mm-hmm. That's all I wanted to be, and I really we met at a perfect time because he wanted a friend. He didn't have any friends.
Wow.
And it was very much like autism. I mean, he was in a place where he wanted a friend. He desperately wanted a friend, and he had no friends.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about his Tourette's.
Yeah.
I didn't. And I'm not going to lie, there were moments in our relationship where it was difficult. I mean, we'd go into a movie theater together, and we got thrown out of more movie theaters than I can count. I mean, but he taught me, you know, and you asked, you know, why I thank him on things like this. And I thank him on things like this because I wouldn't be here without him. I would not be who I am today if it wasn't for Adam Seligman. And he single-handedly provided me with another view of the world. And the one thing that I can say that he gave me is patience, and the ability and the desire to educate instead of fly off the handle and get angry. Now, believe me, I do get angry, but I always look at those situations when someone yells at you because of something your kid's doing, or I always try and find a way to educate people, because that is what he did. He was amazing. He you know, we would walk into a situation where someone would I'll give you an example. So right after the LA riots, he had something with his Tourette's called coprolalia. Coprolalia is where you basically mutter obscenities, and it's the thing you're most inhibited from saying. So after the Los Angeles riots, what do you think was the thing he was most inhibited from saying?
I can certainly guess.
He would walk out into the street and start screaming the N-word. And there were some moments there that were really terrifying, and I remember a few where people wanted to kill him. And he, with incredible bravery, talked these people down, and by the end of it, you know, it was incredible. And he really taught me that it's important in life to educate people and to talk to people. And as mad as they are and as crazy as they seem, that the first thing you need to try and do is educate people. And
amazing.
You know, he was an incredible person, and it's unfortunate that we do live in a society where that kind of baggage takes its toll on you, and unfortunately, it was too much for him, and it was a very, you know, it was difficult.
And we should say he's no longer with us.
No.
But
his memory lives on.
Absolutely, and in all of your work, that you carry that forward. All right.
Absolutely. And you know, a lot of people think I do this just for my son. I don't do it just for my son.
Yeah.
You know, I do this, and Adam was not on the spectrum, but I do it for him.
Yeah.
You know, I dedicate myself to educating people.
Yeah.
And that's why I do this.
It's a much higher purpose. We so appreciate it. It's one of the reasons why I'm so glad that you're doing what you do, because you do bring that perspective. Now, we're going to take a break so I can mop down, because I've cried so much now.
I need to mop down.
And then we're going to come back. We have some more things to talk about with Matt, and we're going to get Matt to take the Autism Active Love Challenge right here on the show.
And I'm excited.
I'm excited too. So stick with us. Back after these messages.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Lisa Ackerman with TACA. We're here with the TACA Facts, the most common questions in the autism journey, real-life questions and answers for your family. Oh boy, this one gets me in trouble. I get this question probably at least a dozen times a week, but how do I get my significant other on board? Whether it's having ABA done in your home, you know, 5 days a week, speech therapy, or even biomedical intervention. I'm talking to you as a parent. It happened to me in the autism journey 3 years after diagnosis. I felt like I'd been through a war zone. I don't have pictures. I don't remember those 3 years. It was awful, and I'm surprised my husband and I made it out of that war zone. So here's some of the tips that helped me get through those 3 years and made it a better marriage, because he's the one I want to be with. First thing you need to do, and this goes for dudes and chicks, replace all the bathroom reading material. Now, whether you just had an independent evaluation with a neuropsychologist, or you just went to your doctor, your MAPS doctor, to help your child get through some serious medical issues, replace the labs, replace the neuropsych eval, and put that all in the bathroom. That's where we do our best reading and thinking, after all. It's one of the most simplistic things that you can do. but literally replace all the bathroom reading material. 2, very important that twice a year you have a meeting and you schedule it with your spouse to say, we're going to do the next 6 months of planning, whether it's just create a quick list, identify the issues or the self-stimulatory behavior or the things that you need to do to help your child with autism make the project. Let me give you an example. We created the Man Project. My son was becoming a teenager, and we found ourselves living a little bit in a rut, babying him a little too much. So what we did was we created a Man Project, and we identified a list of the skills and the things that we wanted my son or our son to learn. We agreed to it, and then we came up with a plan that we could activate over the next 6 months. And my next favorite. Don't forget to have sex with your spouse. Often you will feel disconnected with the person that you love. And if you're not connected with them, you're not connected with them in that way. You're not connecting with them in your autism journey. So my husband laughs, he calls me Dr. Ruth, so I'm giving you a coupon to please just go have sex with your spouse. That will help move things along, but also make it a little more cohesive in a house of chaos, living with autism. So hi, this is Lisa signing out as Dr. Ruth. No, I'm just kidding. Lisa Ackerman with TACA, and we'll talk to you at the next TACA Facts.
Welcome back to Autism Live. Now, we are going to have Matt Asner take the Autism Act of Love Challenge, but we're locating our mask, which I want. So we have a couple of seconds to talk about other things.
Okay.
And so, we're going to have you back on in January to talk about, but you've got some events that are coming up. Yearly, you do a wonderful event called Light Up the Blues. I know that there are things that we can't disclose yet.
Yes.
But let's suffice it to say it's big.
Yes.
Very, very big. But I wondered if you could take a couple of seconds to talk about Light Up the Blues and where people can get so that they can see. I know that you can get the concert from 2 years ago on iTunes.
Yeah.
Can we get last year's concert yet?
No, you know what? We shot last year's concert just, for to document it.
Uh-huh.
We're not releasing it.
Okay.
And that's just because, there are certain things that we just couldn't get some permission that we needed.
Okay.
So
and that's important.
We got lucky the first year.
Okay.
And
but
this
it's
year,
amazing, and people should watch that to see the caliber of the event.
Yeah.
It's breathtaking. It's an event to raise money for Autism Speaks. But what I love is that you meld together like superlative entertainment, and some of your performers are on the spectrum, and they're part of that superlative entertainment.
Oh, no. And I think that's the most impressive thing about the concert is that for 2 years, we've done this 2 years, this is the third year, and we've had incredible talent in terms of people on the spectrum. And we usually have 3 per concert, and they each do a song. And so the first year we had Rio. And Nick Guzman.
Mm-hmm.
And
we've had Nick on the show.
And Lexington Aaron.
Yes.
And you can all see those if you download the film on iTunes. You can see those performances. They're incredible performances, and they really rose to the occasion.
Yeah.
I think they were right up there with all the other performers.
Absolutely.
And they gave wonderful, searing performances.
Yes.
That they were pros.
Yes.
Then the next year we had Zoli Mora, who's up in Seattle, who's amazing, and Rio. And I'm forgetting the other one. It's terrible.
And we get to a certain age, we're allowed.
I'm forgetting the other one.
We're allowed. And notably, you had a whole bunch of other performers that are professional performers that we all are familiar with.
Yeah, and it's a concert we do every year with Stephen Stills and Kristen Stills and Chris Stills. And then we got an amazing people on the committee, Michael Frondelli, who's an amazing sound guy. And Jay Ostrowski, who's over at The Voice. Mm-hmm. We're really lucky because we've got a great little committee that puts this together.
And this is an event that sells out on a regular basis. So, as I said, we're going to have you back on in January, and then you can disclose the big disclosure. But I'm telling you right now, it's big. And so, if you want to get tickets for this event, how soon can they buy tickets? Not until you make the big announcement, or
well, we'll make the announcement probably in December, end of December, early January, and then the press will, be notified after that, and then we'll probably have the tickets tickets on sale, I would imagine, in February or March.
Okay. But you're going to want to go if you can.
They'll go quickly.
They will go quickly. I guarantee you there will not be an empty seat in the house.
Last year, we went on sale, and I think we were sold out in 5 minutes.
Okay. So there you go. And I guarantee you that you're going to want to go to this one.
Yeah.
And more than that, I cannot tell you. So very excited about this new job title for you. Very excited about this new direction in which your life is going. I have referred to you guys before as the Autism Brady Bunch.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Because you have now a blended family.
And we're going to start recording pretty soon.
Are you?
No, I'm kidding.
You
never know.
I want you guys to turn into a singing
Sunshine
group.
Day.
Yeah,
That's what we're
Sunshine
gonna
Day. I just saw a documentary on the cow sills, things that I did not know, that I was fascinated. But wouldn't it be amazing if there was the autism cow sills? That would be a pretty amazing thing. But we won't put that pressure on you guys to have to perform and be a band.
You never know. There's a lot of talent there.
Is there?
Yeah, there is.
I can't say that I have met. I think I have met your kids. I have not met. Maybe I've met one of Nava's children.
Well, they're all musical. I mean, Nava's kids are, Eddie, who's 6, is I think he's going to be very musical.
Okay.
And then Wolfie, who is. Wolfie's amazing. He's really into dubstep.
Okay.
And he's incredible.
All right.
He's really incredible. He does this stuff on the iPad.
All right.
With some like music thing, and it's like incredible. He composes on the iPad.
Okay.
And Max, her 15-year-old, is a singer in a band.
So you really should start a band. Then,
I think
apparently.
we should.
Apparently, I was kidding, but you're not.
We'll add that to the 2015 projects.
Okay.
To-do list.
A list of things to do. All right, we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, blindfold or not, we're going to have Matt Asner take the Autism Active Love Challenge. So stick with us.
What is autism? What is autism?
What is autism?
What is autism?
What is autism?
What is autism?
I've been asking myself that for a very, very long time.
Let me think about that one.
Trying to just
Jeez. Let me think. Oh man, that's a rough one. Yes.
Autism is a neurological disorder that affects many of our kids in different ways.
It's a learning disability that affects the cognitive functions of the brain.
A lot of people have the misconception that it's a disability, and it's really not.
I look at it as like a special gift.
When one person thinks differently from another.
It's an opportunity for everyone to learn to understand someone that's a little different than them. Autism is the ability to educate.
They're given so much talent in different areas.
To me, autism means a chance to be with and be around people you really care about. Autism is beautiful.
It's a way of seeing the world differently.
It's always unique, totally intelligent, and sometimes mysterious.
Happiness that comes out of my son's hard work.
It's a movement.
Unpredictable.
Abstract.
Awesome. Love. The field I want to work in.
Laughter, fun, joy. Autism is beautiful to me.
I want you to remember these 3 words. There is hope.
Welcome back to Autism Live. We are here with Matt Asner, and he is preparing to take the Autism Active Love Challenge. I challenged him, and so he's here. He's got his blindfold. Just to remind everybody what he's going to do, he's going to start by picking 3 markers of any color.
Well, I have to choose purple because that's my favorite color.
All right.
And then
I did not know that about him, by the way.
Green, which is my other favorite color.
Okay.
And then we'll go with Autism Speaks Blue.
Okay, fabulous. So what Matt is going to do, he's going to draw something that he loves. It could be anything, and it doesn't have to be the thing you love most in life, but you're going to draw something you love in honor of someone that you love on the autism spectrum. First names only. But so who would you, and it can be multiple people, who would you like to take this challenge in honor of?
I'm going to have to take it in honor of my son, Will.
Okay, fabulous.
Yeah.
So now you're going to draw something you love. Don your blindfold there.
Okay.
And
take off my glasses.
Yes, that will make it easier. And you can begin.
Now, wait a minute, Shannon.
Yes.
I can't see.
That's exactly the point.
Okay.
So now take one of the markers and begin to draw.
All right. Oh my goodness. Now, I can't draw unblindfolded.
No.
So this is really sad.
But this is the great leveler, because there's no way you can mess this up at all. And it's fun.
And I draw one thing that I love.
One thing that you love. Anything
okay, well,
that you
that's
love.
easy.
Okay.
So, all right, I don't even know where to begin. Make sure I don't draw on your glass.
All right. We have a huge piece of paper, and I'm going to make sure you don't draw on yourself.
This is really sad. This is, I'm really going to...
And sometimes it's fun if you give us an idea of what you're drawing as you draw it.
So I'm drawing a face.
Okay.
Is that right?
You're doing great.
Am I in the lines?
I'm not going to tell you that. That's not in your business. And then eventually you're going to switch colors, and you can just throw that marker when you're done. We'll pick it up later.
Really? Throw it?
Throw it. There you go. Fabulous.
All right.
Now take another marker and add on to it.
I'm going to add on to it.
Okay.
Okay.
And what are you drawing now?
Am I adding on to it? I'm adding another thing that I love?
No, you're continuing to draw the thing that you love right there.
Oh, okay. So now I'm drawing, let's see, a nice little dress.
Okay. I have a good idea of what you're drawing.
Okay.
I think I can guess what it is. Okay, throw that marker and then add the next marker. You're doing great.
I'm hoping this is blue. We'll see. What do I do? It's like crazy glued on there. All right, I'm hoping this is blue.
Okay.
And this is the blue sky.
Okay.
Nice blue sky. It's
All
probably
right.
purple, isn't it?
Wonderful. And now you can throw it. You don't even have to cap it. And you can take off your blindfold and take a look at what you drew.
Wow.
It actually came out very good.
Oh, but she looks unhappy.
No. She doesn't look at all unhappy.
I drew a happy face. Oh, the happy face is her nose.
So I'm going to turn this so people can see. I believe this is your lovely bride,
Yes, it is.
Ms. Nava.
But I did, that's actually supposed to be her mouth.
Okay, but it works. It
I
works.
cannot believe
And
that I went inside the lines.
You did actually a very good job. And when you were drawing the sky, I thought you were drawing the ocean, because we know that she's an ocean baby.
It could be the ocean.
So wonderful. So now, Mr. Asner, you need to challenge some people to take the challenge.
Okay. I challenge Kate Mobius.
Okay.
And I also challenge Thomas Selby.
Okay.
One more?
Yes, at least one more.
At least
you can
one
challenge
more.
as many people as you'd like to challenge.
Ooh. You know what? I challenge. Let's see. Philip Hain.
Okay, Philip is a great person to challenge.
I challenge Philip Hain at Autism Speaks.
Okay, well, you know I'm going to challenge Nava when she comes next week.
Well, Nava's already been challenged.
Okay.
She was challenged by you.
Oh, okay.
So when she's here next
she
week,
was already on the show.
when she's here next week, you make her do that.
I will make her do that. This is lovely. We're going to have you sign this, and you can take this home to Nava.
I will do that.
So she
I'll
can
sign
see
it.
the beautiful portrait
I'll
that
sign
you
it
did
in
of her.
blue.
Okay, and I'm going to remind everybody that then the other thing to do is to make a donation of any size to helpforautism.org. And that, my friends, is how you take the Autism Act of Love Challenge.
Excellent.
We're going to take a break, and we're going to be right back after these messages.
Hello, fellow activists. In our last segment, we talked about step number 2, educate yourself. Step number 3 is get support. Now, any journey can feel overwhelming if you feel like you're walking it alone. Well, you're far from alone, because with 1 in 50 kids diagnosed with autism today, there are a lot of us out there. Of course, there's always the issue of financial support. Now, there's a handful of organizations out there that offer financial support to families in need. ACT Today, or Autism Care and Treatment Today, is one of them. Visit our website at www.act-today.org to find out more about our grant process. I want to talk about a different kind of support today, emotional support. Now, you can get that from other travelers on this path. Some of the best advice I've ever received is from the moms of other kids with autism who went to school with Wyatt or were involved with programs with him. Then there are the pioneers. These are the families that have gone through this years ago, and there was very little information out there. All of these people seem to have the desire to pay it forward. Now, one of them, Lisa Ackerman, who is one of my mentors, started an organization called TACA, Talk About Curing Autism. She actually took the concept of mentors and support groups and made it available to everybody. You can go to their website, talkaboutcuringautism.org, to find out more. During the first and most difficult year after Wyatt's diagnosis, I wrote an email to close family and friends, letting them know what was going on and the challenges our family was facing, and why we dropped out of sight. I was amazed at the outpouring of love and affection and all the help I received from that email. First, you have to be vulnerable. You can't be afraid to ask. Try this out. Could you cook me a meal? Are you going to the market? Can you pick me up a few things? Could your kids play with my kid and make them feel included? Or can you come over and clean my house? Well, maybe not that last one, except with your best friend. And maybe the best support of all is having someone that listens, and that doesn't cost a dime. So until next time, surround yourself with the loving kindness of others and keep the faith.
Welcome back to Autism Live. We're here with Matt Asner, and I understand that you guys had a big announcement today.
Yeah, if you were watching Good Morning America.
And I was, but I must have missed this.
Well, we've announced a new initiative called Missing, and if you'll see like our Twitter today, it's all the vowels are missing. And there's a reason behind it. We are initiating this new project called the Missing Project, which is we're going to map 10,000 full genomes and put them in a partnership with Google, put them on the cloud and have it open source science.
Right.
So any scientist working in autism can access this, and it's really revolutionary. And I really see it as a kind of a step into the 21st century.
Yeah.
And I think in the next 10, 15 years, we're going to have answers to some of the most pressing questions on autism. And I'm excited. It's exciting. It's a really exciting thing.
And so, because we had covered when Google made the original announcement months ago that you guys were going to partner. So today, is this the announcement that it's all happening now? Or so when will scientists be able to access that information?
It's probably a 5-year process.
Okay.
And because we're mapping the genomes now, we have a huge bank that we already have.
Cool.
But we're starting to we're going to map 10,000 genomes. That takes some time.
Amazing.
And a massive amount of space.
Yes.
Massive.
Yeah, it could only be held in a cloud.
Absolutely. And basically, we're taking something that was very lumberous and cumbersome, and you would have to literally have hard drives like you've never seen before, transported to do the research. Now this stuff is going to be available on the cloud, and these people are going to be able to work with this.
Yeah.
And it's really, I was a filmmaker, and I transitioned into filmmaking right at when digital filmmaking started.
Yeah.
And I saw that whole transition take place, and it revolutionized the film industry
Completely.
I mean, the films you see today, Exodus is coming out next week. You would never see that film before digital technology.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And now it's commonplace, and every film has this kind of massive, grandiose CGI or whatever. Everything's edited on an Avid or digital platform, and it has opened up the world to all sorts of new technologies and new entertainment.
Yeah, new storytelling.
New storytelling.
On both sides of it, because not only the CGI, but the beginning filmmaker can make a film
in their garage
for almost no budget, and they don't have to go get the short ends anymore.
Exactly.
So we're going to see that same kind of thing happen
in
with
science.
Autism, with this science and this capability.
And
it's very exciting.
Extremely exciting. It means a lot to the autism community.
Absolutely.
And I think I really believe, like I've never believed before, that in 10 to 15 years, we're going to really have some answers.
I love that, because I've said from the beginning, until we can say all the different classifications of kinds of autism, we're never going to get stuck out of this mud, because people will see autism instead of autisms.
Right.
And my child's autism and your child's autism are different. We don't even have to look far to see, you put a bunch of kids with autism in a room and you go, this is not the same thing. All right, really quickly, we've got 1 minute left before I have to tease about what's happening tomorrow. We're here at the end of the year. This is probably the last time we're going to see you for the end of this year. What's on your wish list for 2015?
Wow.
I know, and I threw it at you with no prep. But you got about 45 seconds now.
My personal wish list?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what? I really want to have more time with my family. I want to have, not just more time, but I want to actually go places with my family. Okay. So I think I really want to find ways to have adventures with my family.
I love that.
And I think that's something that that's a resolution that I'm going to make.
Okay.
And it's here, and now I have to live up to it.
All right, there it is. It's captured forever.
Yes.
All right, with that having been said, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all the work that you do. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
I want to remind.
Thank you for all the work you do.
Well, thanks. I sit here and get to enjoy. I want to remind everybody, and I already put it away, our toy of the hour was Korner'd. We talked about that in the last hour. So if you want to win Korner'd or any of the other games that we showed on the show today, make sure that you are on our email list and that you email me at s.penrod@autism-live.com. Tell me which game you want to win, who you want to win it for. You must give me your name and address. Otherwise, I've got no place to ship it to, and I want to get it out to you. So make sure that you enter to do that as soon as possible. Also, on the show tomorrow, Dr. Doreen Gramsche will be answering your questions live, and then we have Nancy Allspot Jackson joining me for Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy. Vince Redman, licensed marriage and family therapist, is going to talk with us about how do we have the Santa talk with our kids and other really important discussions. So that and much more tomorrow. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me. Bye-bye for now.